The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, Spar05.com and Fitzner Performance Gearboxes. Hello and welcome to Zolder for the third round of the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli. The streaming wet track provides an extra handicap for the sports prototypes in the Superlight divisions. Not only do they have very restricted visibility, they're much more prone to aquaplaning because of their low weight, and the lakes and puddles of Zolder would have a major impact on the two races. The trouble started on Saturday, starting to drizzle during the warm-up lap for race one, everybody except for two drivers on slicks. Philip Daniels in the blue and silver Radical SR3 spins in the middle of the Jackie Ick chicane, blocking fourth place man there, Kokapian. Because he stalled, the safety car comes out after half a lap. The Tartus PYO12 of Henk Hane leading the race in Group 2, but missing in action four-time winner Henk Thees's Radical SR8. He's co-driving this weekend with 20-year-old South African Naomi Schiff, and she's clearly disappointed. The car is out before the race even starts. Henk saying it was fine on the warm-up lap, everything felt great, but I looked at the battery charge level and there wasn't anything there, and that without the battery you're only going to race for about 20 minutes, so I decided we'd call it a day and park in the pit lane. Crew have found the problem, faulty wire, but not something you'd normally see during a pre-race check, so bad luck on us. Restarting after the safety car on board with Vibo Rademacher on wet weather tyres. Trying to get a run on the Norma there. David Huttoff's got 50 horsepower more than the Radical, so he's got away, but oh, look at the Norma just powering down the inside. The Pragas on the right hand side being very cautious, ultra light, and up the inside goes Rademacher. And he goes by the Norma on the inside as well. That's a change for 8th place, or is it? Yes, now it should be 7th place in front of David Huttoff, and that's Kokapian. He won the first two races at Zandvoort. Kokapian on slicks, easy pickings there, so we're up to 6th place already. Wim Juris in the Radical SR3 SL, more horsepower, 300 against the 210 of the SR3, but it's a heavier car, and in these conditions, that might count against it under braking, but of course extra weight helps the tyres grip the track more, and these Pirellis need all the help they can get in these treacherous conditions, but he is on slicks. Vibo Rademacher on wet weather tyres, so he should have better acceleration, better braking, better grip. Down into the chicane, looks to the inside. He's being bold, piling on the pressure. Rick van Geffen, Vibo Rademacher's teammate, also started on wets, and he is moving and challenging for the lead in front. Rain tyres clearly the right choice. Rademacher, despite the extra grip, struggling to deal with nearly 100 horsepower deficiency to the car in front. And that's an awful lot, allows the SL Radical to just squirt away in the straight. All he's got to do is get the steering wheel straight and then get onto the throttle, leaves Rademacher behind him. And that's a big old gap opening up. Wim Juris making a challenge on the inside of Rob Campus. Did he get through at the Jackie Ick chicane? It looks as though he has, so change for 4th place. Campus in a Radical SR3, but on slick tyres. So look at this, under acceleration, not much difference between them. In fact, Campus got a better run out of the chicane onto the straight, didn't he? Now we're going to have to overtake when he gets onto the brakes nice and early on those slicks to make sure he doesn't end up in the gravel. We go right by him on the inside. So up in 5th place now, Wim Juris in front, in 4th. Can't hold the speed through the long right-hander, and through we go, up into 4th. Pit stop time and trouble for David Huttoft. He and his mechanics checking the gauges on the dashboard of the Norma. Well, leaving the pit lane, but still on slicks, and that's going to drop him back to 11th. Philippe de Klerk was 3rd overall in his green and white Norma. He decides to stay on slicks as well, but as more rain comes after the pit stops, that too will cost him. He'll drop down to 7th. Here's the leader, Rick van Geffen, coming in for his pit stop. Now he makes a good call, stays on wets. Zolder gets really greasy with even the slightest amount of water on the track. They're just adjusting the tyre pressure. Van Geffen manages to get inside the 1 minute 45 lap time as well. The only SR3 driver, 2 seconds quicker than his competitors. He takes his first win of the season after not having competed in the previous round at the Nürburgring it's all the sweeter. Also on wets from the start, Wiebe Rademacher takes second, ahead of Rob Campus.
Ja, dit is echt ongelooflijk. Vorige keer was ik gewoon echt te ziek. Ik deed echt heel veel
Incredible, says Rick van Geffen. In the last round in Nürburgring, I was too ill to drive. It really hurts. I was very eager to get that behind me and do well here at Zolder. And rain really suits me so well. The weather was fantastic. This forecast was just for me. Team gave me a great car. They adjusted the handling to make the car better in the wet. The balance was superb. I had such a good flow. Shame it's just an hour. Victory tastes very sweet today, he said. Wiebe Rademacher taking second place with the wet weather tyres and takes the lead of the championship. 4 times on the podium so far as Rob Campus takes his first podium of the season. We all started on slicks except for the 2 guys from the Winkelstraat team, he says, so really smart move by them, well done. But with the drizzle, really hard to stay on track, and with more rain during the race, it was just survival. I made it to the pit stops, changed to wets, and what a difference. 5 seconds faster in the first couple of laps, even up to 10 seconds a lap quicker. Managed to get up to third. Last pass was pretty good, actually. I was in a battle with Kokopian. I was much quicker, about 2 or 3 seconds a lap. I'm sure he'll say it was used wet tyres, and that's true. But I made a great move in the last lap in the last corner. On the inside, squeezed through, kept the wide line so he couldn't get back on the throttle, and it really worked well. Just got by him for third place. And that was a great move, especially because I'm the first guy who started in the race on slicks to make it onto the podium. And I'm not often proud of my achievements, but this one is going to go into my Hall of Fame. I'll wear the medal all day long. It wasn't just used wets that dropped last year's champion back to 4th. A partly stripped engine shows there are more problems. Last week we built a new engine. We started on Monday, put it in the car on Wednesday, came here to Zolder. Everything was okay, ran beautifully, but in race 1 the temperature started to climb. Maybe it's a head gasket or something. Something is wrong though, clearly, so we're taking the engine apart. Hopefully we'll fix it. The real problem though is in the awning. We haven't got the facilities, so everything crossed. Well, Co putting a brave face on it, but there's no doubt they've got a lot of work to do if they're to stand any chance of making the race 2 grid. In Group 2, the leader, Henk Hane, for the latest CN prototypes and Radical SR8s. At Zandvoort, they had engine management problems, had to pull out. Naomi Schiff crashed the car in free practice at the Nürburgring and they had to pull out again. But here at Zolder, the first win for GH Motorsport.
De grootste stap is rijden de betrouwbaarheid van de auto.
And Henk says the biggest step forward we've made is with reliability. We've learned what the car does on longer runs, tyre wear, fuel consumption and so on. It was a brand new car from Italy, got it a few months ago straight out of the box, so this is the first time we've driven the car. First test miles, it's incredible to drive, the handling's amazing, but I've got a lot to learn. That's what we're doing now. Well, certainly no question over tyre selection for race 2. Kokopian, the man supposed to be on pole, is not on the grid. They didn't get to the bottom of their engine problems, so Philip Daniels will be the first man in his Radical SR3. But Henk Tace suddenly appears on grid. Now, he had set pole for both races, but with a different car, so he should be at the back of the grid. Philip de Klerk and Henk Hane, 3rd and 4th on the grid, as with everybody else, eager to get going before the weather really takes a turn for the worst. Kalokaya in 5th, Rob Campus 6th, the man who started on slicks and made it to the podium in race 1. So they're going to have to go out on the warm-up lap, leaving Henk Tace to join in at the back of the field. Yellow flags all around, but problems for Rob Campus. Everybody unsure as quite what the starting formation is. Henk Tace will join in at the back of the field, but they should take their original grid positions. You can see just how wet it is here at Villeneuve. Even the safety car looks like it's struggling in the water, so a great idea to allow these drivers to take a couple of laps to really work out where the lakes have formed on this Zolder circuit. Well, truly dreadful conditions for any kind of racing. The slippery surface flag, I think perhaps might not be required. And this level of visibility will disappear as soon as they get up to racing speed. It's going to be tough. Now, the green and white car, that's Philip Leclerc's Norma. He should be behind the blue and white SR3 of Philip Daniels. For some reason, he's jumped in front to lead the queue round behind the safety car. Down the pit lane comes the blue Norma. And that's David Huttoft. He's out. So here we go. And already Wiebo Rademacher making a move on Rob Campus. He's got the inside line. Up in front somewhere is the corner. He's being very cautious. Campus braking on the outside. It's the green and white Norma. Philippe Leclerc leads. The black car, that's Henk Hane in his Tartus. He's in second. Philip Daniels third. The blue and silver SR3. And around the outside of him, the white Praga R1. That was Carlo Kaya moving up to third as Rick van Geffen splashes around in the spray. He's seventh behind Wiebo Rademacher. Philippe Leclerc leading at the moment. The green and white car, there he is. Henk Hane, the black car. Then Carlo Kaya, the white closed car. Rob Campus, red and white in fourth. Philippe Leclerc not liking the rain. Three goes Wiebo Rademacher. And it looks as though Rick van Geffen's going to have a run up to the first chicane as well. Don't forget that blue and silver car spun in the first chicane on the warm-up lap in the wet yesterday, causing the safety car, and the leader gets in very sideways, survives though. Rob Campus there, looking strong, on board with Campus. Started on slicks yesterday. I think the wets definitely will be much more to his liking. Yellow flags are out. Down to the Villeneuve chicane, and this is why the spray and the huge lake down here right by the curbs. Got to avoid those puddles. Carlo Kaya in the Praga R1 right in front. So here we go. Got to try and attack him now nice and early. Oh no, too much. Chases the throttle. Oh, and there's the impact with the concrete barriers. And I'm afraid that is Campus out of the race. Listen now. Just loops it gently into a spin. And the wet grass means he doesn't stop before he hits the wall. Well, it's a sad end. Podium on Saturday and the walk of shame through the pit lane on Sunday.
Eigen schuld, dikke bult. Te veel taart.
Too eager, too fast, he said. All his fault. Well, Philippe Leclerc leading the race in the Norma, the CN class car, and Henk Hane's Tartus right behind, also in the CN class. Praga R1 of Carlo Kaya third, and the closed car in these conditions may be no better than an open car, always prone to misting up if they haven't got the ventilation right. Of course, you don't get quite so wet inside, but you do get hot. Rick van Geffen in fifth place behind Wiebo Rademacher. Now he's down to six as Henk Tace dives in. He's won 4 of the 5 races so far this season. Rick van Geffen in Wiebo Rademacher's car. They have a traditional arrangement where they use each other's cars for the second race of the weekend. Well, Tace now on the tail of Henk Hane, the leader in Group 2 and second overall. The Tartus with better aerodynamics, but the Radical's 2.7 V8 engine has 430 horsepower. The Honda in the Tartus only 260. No contest here really, since they're both on wets. Henk Tace uses the horsepower to go by the Tartus that jumps the chicane, getting it wrong under braking. And 2 laps later, the change of the lead comes. Philippe Leclerc in his Norma, leading Group 3, and overall has to give way as Henk Tace fights his way by. This battle rages throughout the first stint. Group 3 battle for 6th place, Wim Juris in the 181 Radical SR3 SL, and Noel Kohler in the green and black Praga R1. The Radicals got better horsepower, but in these conditions that doesn't count. It's heavier, and that's not helping so much. The nimble Praga is a good match for it in the rain. Yellow flags down at the Villeneuve chicane because of the wet and because of Rob Campus's crashed car. As they get ready to remove that, means no overtaking there. There's Campus's car on the right-hand side as the battle rages on. Well, stay with us. More racing, more rain as we continue with the second race of the weekend. And there's a surprise in store. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, Spa05.com and Fitzner Performance Gearboxes. Round 3 of the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli at a streaming wet Zolder circuit. The Radical of Henk Tace started at the back of the grid, but he's moved his way into the lead after the opening 10 laps of race 2. The Norma M20F of Philippe Leclerc is the leader in Group 3. Mandatory pit stops, as in every Supercar Challenge race. Philippe Leclerc is in. Saturday's race lost third place by staying on slicks in worsening rain conditions, but he's very competitive here in the wet. No result seconds because he was 7th in race 1, so he stays in the lead after his 1-minute pit stop. And that leaves him on the tail of Noel Kohler in the Praga R1. Kohler yet to stop, but he thinks that he needs to defend his position against the Norma. Contact into the Villeneuve chicane leaves de Klerk very cautious, eager to win his first race in the Group 3 category. But he starts paying too much attention to being careful and not enough to driving the car for the conditions. And this mistake in the first corner is going to cost him. He aquaplanes, keeps his foot buried and goes off into the gravel. Well, when we see it in replay, he turns in, he feels the grip, gets on the throttle to drive out of the corner, then he gets the standing water, and he's a passenger as he heads into the gravel. That was only 6 laps from the end. He lost the lead of Group 3 to Carlo Kaya's white Praga R1. He ended up getting dragged out, but further mechanical problems would put an end to his race. Well, he lost the lead of the class to Carlo Kaya, but Kaya suffered the same fate, spinning out of the first corner into the gravel, and that handed the Group 3 lead to the Radical SR3 of Wim Juris, who had no result seconds either. Henk Hane in his black Tartus took the lead in Group 2 after the pit stops because of Henk Thees, who had lots of result seconds under his belt. Noel Kohler in the Praga moved up to 2nd in Group 3 with no result seconds. Wibo Rademacher does have result seconds because of podium finishes early in the season. And Rik van Geffen also does because his win on Saturday, 15 seconds added to both of their pit stops. Wibo Rademacher, though, on the tail of the Praga R1. The Praga has around 6 horsepower more than Radical SR3, not so much, but the Radical with greater downforce and has a little less weight as well, and in these conditions that's going to help. Sizing up Noel Kohler and then into the Lucien Bianchi corner, having a little look, can't quite get there. And we're running up to the chicane. Wibo Rademacher on the racing line around the outside, but it's going to be more slippery here with the oil and the rubber on the track. Can he get it slowed down? Yes, he does, it seems, so he moves by. Noel Kohler down to 3rd place. Wibo Rademacher chasing the class leader down into the Jackie Ick chicane, outbrakes himself, and the escape road isn't the escape road, it's the pit lane entry, so he is forced to give himself a drive-through, and there's Noel Kohler, and that could put him right back into 2nd place. And behind Noel Kohler, that is Rik van Geffen. Van Geffen might even pick up 3rd, because don't forget, Wibo Rademacher on the pit lane speed limiter. Deja vu for Noel Kohler in the Praga though, isn't it? He's got another Radical behind him into Lucien Bianchi corner, and on the exit, getting better drive, Rik van Geffen goes by for 2nd place. For Rademacher, recovering from his pit lane error, now back on the tail of Noel Kohler. And Kohler throwing up the spray, but as before, the Radical SR3s through this long right-hander, gaining hand over fist on the lightweight Praga, just can't get enough weight to push its Pirellis into the road, and he gives the position away before the Lucien Bianchi corner. Kohler struggling against the Radicals in the wet. The Radicals have their own struggles though. Look at Rik van Geffen into the chicane, gets it all wrong. He's struggling with brakes now. Down to the Jackie Ick chicane, final zigzag on the circuit. And he outbrakes himself as well. Oh, skates to a halt. He's lost the engine. Trying to get it fired up, but again, he's in the pit entry road, so he is going to have to go through the pit lane, even if he does get a push start. Now, Wibo Rademacher in the black car, on the tail of Wim Juris in the closing stages here at Zolder. On the racing line, down to the first chicane on the right-hand side, Juris moves over to cover. Now is Rademacher going to send it on the inside? Yes, he is, deep and late into the chicane. Can he get it stopped? He does, and he moves through. That gives him the lead. It's the 5th podium of the season for Wibo Rademacher and win number 2 ahead of Wim Juris and Noel Kohler.
De auto die...
The car felt like it was on rails, says Vibo. I felt at one with the car. It was so easy to drive. I felt every move, anticipated the track conditions well. It was really hard to find the right lines here at Zolder, but I think I did well. I seemed to have more grip than the other guys. Yesterday and today we performed really well. Feels great, so hopefully we can do it again the next time out. Well, Vibo already took the championship lead after Saturday's race, but with Kopian, his biggest rival, not starting in race 2, he extends that advantage as Kopian drops to 4th. Henk Hane was second in Group 2 after Henk Thijs overtook him early in the race. He's a very experienced gentleman driver, but still getting to grips with this Tartus. It's only his second race in the car this season. The first 2 weekends brought nothing but bad luck. 20-year-old South African driver Naomi Schiff was his teammate at the beginning of the season, but after an unfortunate crash at the Nürburgring, all her confidence in the car was gone, so she took up an offer to join Henk Thijs in his Radical SR8. The car didn't start race 1, so disappointing for her, means this is the first start of the race for her. She's got to push hard right away in a car with 430 horsepower and just weighing 700 kilos. That's not going to be easy, especially in this weather. After 4 podium finishes, despite a DNS last time out, there's lots of result seconds in the pit stop as well, so Naomi isn't close enough to attack Henk Hane, both of them doing similar lap times. Yeah, it's wet out there, says Henk Thijs. Well, despite the attack of the South African driver, Henk Hane manages to hold on in the lead, keeps her at bay to take his second win of the season after an hour of racing. But it certainly wasn't easy.
In het begin was het op een gegeven moment voor mij echt wel overleven.
In the beginning it was impossible to get any kind of good pace. I had massive understeer, said Henk. In every turn it basically wanted to go straight on, didn't want to turn. So it was a while before I could get back on the throttle. The lap times were rubbish, there wasn't much I could do. I just tried to make it to the finish, so still really happy with the team. We needed this result. We've spent a lot of time, a lot of money trying to get to this point, so here we are on the podium again. I'm really pleased. Well, that might give him a little bit of confidence back. And he offers his congratulations to former teammate Naomi Schiff. Her first race in the Radical went well.
Yeah, it was a good race. Finally, after quite a rough weekend, we managed to start the race and finish quite well. So most of the mission was accomplished, so that's good. I had a great time racing with Henk Thijs with his Radical. The SR8's a great car, so I had some fun. A little bit tricky in the beginning, getting into a new car in these tricky conditions. But after a couple of laps, I managed to find my rhythm and ended on the podium. So glad with that.
A smile to brighten the soaking circuit of Zolder after the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli. Round 5 of the challenge will be at Assen in early August, featuring GT and Sport divisions. Next outing for the Superlights at Brands Hatch on the Grand Prix circuit in early September. And we'll bring you all the action. Bye for now.
De Supercar Challenge wordt mede mogelijk gemaakt door Pirelli, Formido Deco Bouwmarkt, HDI Gerling, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Winkelstraat.nl en Fokwa Schadeherstel.